Welcome to Ads and Tales, the podcast where we explore tales from the world of B2B ads. This is your host Sid, and I will bring you the insights, experiences, and strategies from those who have been in the trenches to help you excel in your marketing efforts. So sit back, relax, and join us for some great tales from the world of B2B ads. This is Ads and Tales.
It's only one thing, which is naukri lag jani chahiye, hike aa jana chahiye. So what I'm saying is that for each of these segments, motivation varies, and then you need to look at like your standard template for marketing and just tweak it. But I feel fundamentally वो template तो है, आपको messaging tweak करनी पड़ेगी. You might have to dial up a certain lever, dial down a certain lever, depending on what you are going for, right? So I mean, जैसे मैं scaler का example, अभी scaler is in its upskilling space, right? And it's been about 2.5 years we've been scaling that. तो वहाँ पे कस्टमर को क्या चाहिए? बस हाइक चाहिए. तो आपको उनको प्लेसमेंट रिपोर्ट दिखानी है, आपको उनको सक्सेस स्टोरीज दिखानी है, आपको लर्निंग आउटकम्स, वो सारी चीजों पे फोकस करना है, एंड यू डबल डाउन ट्रिपल डाउन ऑन दैट.
Which industry has challenged you most as a marketer? I was recently asked and it put me in a fix. I took a pause and I tried to identify the verticals I have been fortunate enough to have worked on. Martech, FinTech, HR tech, to an extent procurement tech as well. And then the needle stopped somewhere on EdTech. And the reason is not because it is a tough one or a very challenging one. It is also because it is something that I have enjoyed the most. And why is that? Then I wondered. The reason for my enjoying EdTech was the consumer dynamics have changed for every kind of vertical in EdTech that I have worked for. You're talking K-12, the consumer and the customer changes. You're talking mentorship, you're talking corporate training. The consumer and customer change at every level, and that is what makes it challenging and that is what makes it fun. And because I was on that vein of thought, I thought, let me invite someone who's done it and seen it all in the world of EdTech, who is a dear friend and a very fond mentor or a senior from my B school as well. Manmeet, thank you for coming over and welcome to Ads and Tales.
Super, Siddharth. Thanks for having me here. I'm looking forward. EdTech is a word that you read in the newspaper at least twice a day. Initially for the right reasons, lately for the wrong reasons. So looking forward to this chat.
Awesome. So starting from Clarity, where we founded Clarity, built it, then sold it over, and now to Scaler. How has life been, Manmeet? Let's get into this. How has life been? GSK, Clarity, Eduvan, Scaler. Let me put it all in a sequence.
I mean, think about it. I feel old now. Like 2015 is when we met in college, and it's been 8 years already. So I think, Siddharth, for me, education happened before it was EdTech. Okay. So I think मेरा एक genuine सा passion था college में. Are we okay with Hindi in between, or?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So there was this genuine thing, right? कि MBA के पहले मेरे भी जो SIBM के forms है उसमें मैंने लिखा हुआ है कि education में कुछ करना है, entrepreneurship में कुछ करना है. And that happened first year में भी मैंने कुछ projects लिए थे entrepreneurship में, and then मेरा GSK में pre-placement offer लग गया था. तो I was in cloud9 कि ठीक है, second year में कुछ है नहीं करने को, काफी सारा मतलब घूमे घामे वगैरह. And then when I came back, I was like, yeah, ठीक है, I have this job offer, but my passion lies in education. Let me just explore. तब मैंने फिर Teach for India के साथ एक internship किया. And Shaheen Mistry is the person who has founded Teach for India. And वो internship करते करते कुछ volunteering करते करते I got in touch with her and I sort of took her mentoring advice. And she was like, dude, look, you might be from a fancy B school, बट ऐसे नहीं होता. मतलब आपको एजुकेशन की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है तो आपको ग्राउंड पे जाना पड़ेगा, राइट? एंड आई वाज लाइक, फेयर एनफ, दैट मेक्स सेंस. सो एट दैट पॉइंट आई टुक दिस कॉल कि यार मैं नहीं लूंगा जीएसके का पीपीओ, एंड आई विल सर्च फॉर लाइक अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन एजुकेशन, मे बी लेवरेजिंग दैट ऑफर. It was a contrarian move, मतलब वो मुझे याद है 3 बजे रात को ऐसे हॉस्टल के कॉरिडोर्स में हम डिस्कस करते थे. ध्रुव आनंद को जानते होगे आप.
Yes.
That close bunch of friends, right? Discussing all this. People are like, अरे पागल हो गया क्या, क्यों करना चाहता है, थोड़ा काम कर ले. So I think looking back, that was the pivotal moment where I decided कि नहीं यार, मतलब building is what I love, problem solving is what I love, and करते हैं इसको. फिर मैंने मतलब I approached everyone. जो भी एजुकेशन में था, एडटेक में था, जाया करके एक बहुत ही इनोवेटिव कंपनी थी तभी. इट वाज वन ऑफ द मतलब वो तभी की एक एडटेक थी, कह सकते हो आप. तो उनके पास भी गए थे एंड did not work out. They wanted me to do sales. I was like, नहीं मजा नहीं आएगा. I want to be in the classroom. So I ended up joining a company called Endeavor, जहाँ पे मैंने 600 classes दी, 600 classes over one and a half this thing. I was sort of doing like a center manager kind of role, classes plus some marketing plus some operations, थोड़ा generalist kind of होता. तो वहाँ पे मुझे एक insight मिला था कि यार मतलब कॉलेज के जो बच्चे हैं ना, उनको कुछ नहीं पता, मतलब उनको बाहर क्या हो रहा है वो नहीं पता है. एंड बाहर जो है काफी लोग हैं जिन्होंने इंडस्ट्री में काम किया हुआ है. ऑन दैट साइड पीपल आर रियली वांटिंग टू गिव बैक. उनके लाइफ में मीनिंग थोड़ी कम हो रही है एंड देयरफॉर दे वांट टू कनेक्ट लाइक विद द यंगर वंस टू गिव बैक, राइट? So that's when I came about with this idea of clarity, literally to help people get clarity with their careers. And मतलब वही था यूज केस कि इसको कॉलेजेस में हम गो टू मार्केट लेके जाएंगे. इसका इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस से चालू किया था हमने. And the idea there was that, hey, like, you know, there are so many 12, 13 career paths after engineering. How do you help them choose that? तो हमने एक प्रोडक्ट बनाया कि you take a psychometric test, basis like 2-3 suggestions it gives you, then we connect you with that industry professional who's in that, right? We ran it, first 6-8 months was just figuring out, right? चल क्या है exactly, क्या चल रहा है, क्या नहीं चल रहा है. So just trying to get to product market fit, and then we quickly realized that, hey, look, this is definitely a problem, but it's a vitamin. It's not a painkiller. Painkiller, जो भी एजुकेशन में करना चाहे ना इंडिया में, ये समझ लो इस कैटेगरी में कॉलेज प्लस अपस्किलिंग में इज ओनली वन, अगर आप नौकरी लगा सकते हो, ठीक है. So then we quickly added some more services कि आप mentoring for PI preparation, mentoring for resume. Scale that up to 10,000 people over 2.5-3 years. We worked with a couple of new IIMs. We worked with a lot of MBA engineering colleges across India. And this became like a proper B2B business. And then there was this sort of opportunity where we got an acquisition offer. There is another Sequoia-backed startup called Eduvance. So तभी मेरा thought process was like, ठीक है, this could be a good lifestyle business, but मतलब how do I take this 10,000 to 1 million, right? Like how do I impact those many people? So I felt कि ठीक है, मतलब let's go ahead with the acquisition and we'll figure out. So I was with Eduvance for a bit, but then that itching was there. Eduvance is like a fintech plus education focused company. That itch was कि यार नहीं यार, education में ही कुछ build करना है, original thing. तो फिर I left Eduvance and reached out to again everyone, all founders, saying that, hey, look, this is what I've done, let's chat, and connected with a couple of them. I sort of feel lucky to stumble across Scalar. I say that because I did not have any idea of how it's going to scale, right? बस मुझे ये पता था कि टेक पे स्टिक करते हैं, बिकॉज टेक इज समथिंग व्हिच इज बूमिंग, विल बूम, विल फ्यूचर में भी बूम होगा, एंड थोड़ा स्मार्ट लोग क्या था आपके लिए. These were 2-3 criteria that I kept for myself and reached out. I was about the 100th guy to join Scalar, and बस मुझे ये पता था Sequoia ने पैसे डाले, 20 मिलियन डाले थे, तो कुछ सोच के ही डाला होगा, चलते हैं, right? And I joined, and मतलब वो problem statement maybe we can discuss later. But TLDR last 2.5-3 years with Scalar has been amazing. We scaled from like a 8 million ARR to 120 million ARR, and we grew from like I was about 110th employee to about 1,600 employees now. Series B हुआ है, 700 million valuation. Lots of crazy learnings, exciting projects. I can talk about the latest project in a bit. So yeah, that's broadly been the journey, and like I said, I've been in education before it was EdTech. I feel like good about taking a contrarian view at that time.
it takes guts. Tell me, I know from experience as well, it takes guts to
Yeah.
at that time when people are running after that PPO. And I remember people saying, "अरे PPO आया है, खत्म, दूसरा साल कुछ नहीं करना" and stuff. So three cheers to that, for the lack of any other words. And I'm pretty sure you won't have added any other way in the last 8 or so years, right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, so I can clearly see the love affair with EdTech, and I have my personal bias as well. But what actually got you into EdTech or EdTech marketing specifically?
यार सो सिद्धार्थ आई थिंक वही जो टीच फॉर इंडिया के साथ जब मैंने चालू किया था काम तो आई रेड अ कपल ऑफ रिपोर्ट्स देयर एंड इट वाज very obvious to me that the space is completely broken outcomes wise, right? India ki learning outcomes वगैरह compared to other peers, right, is much lower even today, right? And again वो जियो का revolution हो रहा था तो it was clear कि ये tech will play a huge role in changing some of these things, right? Let me actually give you some numbers also, right? तो globally ना तो learning industry है that is $7 trillion market. Okay, $7 trillion, and that's projected to go up to $10 trillion by 2030. Okay. To just set things in perspective, automobile industry itself is 2.3 trillion. Okay, so education
Okay.
is 4x. Aviation industry, just to give another example, is $3.5 trillion. Right, and compared to that, education is 7 trillion. By the way, I'm giving you data from GSV. So GSV is like one of the world's most renowned VC funds for education. It's funded the likes of your Coursera. Physics wala also in India is funded by GSV. Okay, तो मतलब अभी ये जो 7 ट्रिलियन है इसका राइट नाउ अराउंड कोविड 160 billion, which is just 2.3%, is edtech. Okay, and
Yes.
that 160 is projected to go up as per some projections 400, as per some projections 600 by 2026-27, right? So we are already seeing that. Lately thoda sa there have been challenges, but I think in the long run edtech is going to eat more and more of this traditional pie, right? अब इसमें तो इंडिया के कॉन्टेक्स्ट से समझते हैं, राइट? आई वाज लुकिंग एट सम डेटा ऑफ व्हाट द साइज ऑफ इंडियाज एजुकेशन मार्केट. So that's $180 billion. So this 180 billion is just 2.5% of that 7 trillion, right?
Yes.
And guess what? We have 20% of the world's population. So it doesn't make sense that 2.5% versus 20%. So I just feel that slowly मतलब यहाँ पे ये बढ़ेगा. And वही है कि education में you have this impact creation opportunity, but not just that, there is a wealth creation opportunity, right? So I in my mind थोड़ा सा obvious सा है कि कर सकते हैं इसको थोड़ा long term पर.
Yes. Yes. So it wasn't just the passion; it is more strategic thinking as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So since we've spoken about the roots on where the roots came from, I'd move to I move to something that I mentioned in my prelude as well, that I find edtech very unique in the sense that the consumer dynamics change at each education level. So if you're talking K-12, you're talking preschool, you're talking mentorship, or you're talking test preparation, the consumer and customer change at each level, and therefore that makes edtech a little more complex than the other tech verticals, a little more enjoyable as well. So how have you found your way around these complexities? What has been your observation, your experiences around this?
Bilkul. So Sid, I think you're right. Like education is complicated, education marketing is complicated. For example, a preschool segment, the motivation for the consumer, let's say in this case the parent, is that the kid should hit the learning milestones faster than the others, for example, right? Then as you go K-12, it's about again like a similar kind of a feeling that my kid should be one step ahead. Coming to test prep, it's all about motivation, let's crack it, those kind of this thing. Then it's upskilling, it's only one thing, which is naukri lag jani chahiye, hike aa jana chahiye. So what I'm saying is that for each of these segments, motivation varies, and then you need to look at like your standard template for marketing and just tweak it. But I feel fundamentally वो template तो है, आपको messaging tweak करनी पड़ेगी. You might have to dial up a certain lever, dial down a certain lever, depending on what you are going for, right? So I mean, जैसे मैं scalar का एग्जांपल देता हूँ अभी, scalar is in its upskilling space, right? And it's been about 2.5 years we've been scaling that. तो वहाँ पे कस्टमर को क्या चाहिए, बस हाइक चाहिए. तो आपको उनको प्लेसमेंट रिपोर्ट दिखानी है, आपको उनको सक्सेस स्टोरीज दिखानी है, आपको लर्निंग आउटकम्स, वो सारी चीजों पे फोकस करना है, एंड यू डबल डाउन ट्रिपल डाउन ऑन दैट, राइट? नाउ वी हैव स्टार्टेड अ न्यू थिंग कॉल्ड स्केलर स्कूल ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, जहां हम अपना अंडर ग्रेजुएट प्रोग्राम ही बना रहे हैं. वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू व्हाट ISB डिड टू द IITs, टू द IIM, सॉरी. सो वी वांट टू डू दैट टू द IITs, कि एक बीटेक को डिसरप्ट करने वाला प्रोग्राम, वेयर इट्स one of the first colleges which is 100% all the teachers are industry professionals, okay, inspired by how doctors कि मतलब आप senior doctors पढ़ाते हैं, practically पढ़ाते हैं. तो अब ये product है. Now this product is all about talking to your class 12 students, their parents, more complexity. तो यहाँ पे बस एक ही चीज काम में आती है, ट्रस्ट, कि आप how do you build trust. Now if this is the core thing that you need to do, तो आप वो जो ओरिजिनल टेम्पलेट है उसको कैसे कैसे ट्वीक कर सकते हो. नाउ आई कैन शो यू वन टेम्पलेट क्विकली व्हिच आई हैव some like taken from here and there, customized it as per education use cases. Now this is your typical funnel, right? So जैसे अलग अलग levers होते हैं for each funnel step. So you start with awareness, come to consideration, purchase, and then I'll talk about loyalty/retention. सो अवेयरनेस ड्राइव करने के लिए फॉर द अनइनिशिएटेड क्या क्या कर सकते हो आप? ऑब्वियस चीज है ब्रांड कैंपेन्स. फिर जैसे एजुकेशन में डिजिटल इवेंट्स इज अ बिग थिंग, बिकॉज आपको वैल्यू दिखाना होता है, आपको फेसेस दिखाना. क्रेडिबिलिटी ऑफ यू एज अ ब्रांड comes from the people who are behind the brand, right? In education especially. So digital events is a big one. आपने scalar का देखा होगा. We do a lot of these master classes. We send out a lot of ads also to people. So digital events is a primary sourcing funnel for scalar. फिर जैसे trust business है, education, so influencer is a big one. Then all your standard stuff, PR, reports banana, placement reports, etc. All that. फिर your inbound stuff, SEO, right? Social media हो गया. Now यहाँ पे social media पे I feel that most people don't get it right. It's about volume of content versus कि यार मतलब उनका गोल होता है कि ठीक है 4 वीडियो डाल देना महीने में. नहीं, the goal should be to create less but like share worthy content. I love this book Fast, Cheap and Viral by Ashish Chopra. बहुत सारे उसमें principles है that I also want to implement. So वो एक lever हो गया where your videos reach let's say 500,000, 1 million people. Then comes your standard performance campaigns where you know sometimes people directly use performance for branding. Not sure of the effectiveness in education, but that is that. Then there is partnerships. For example, ये जो मैं स्केलर स्कूल ऑफ टेक बोल रहा था, तो उसके लिए हमने करियर 360, कॉलेज देखो, ऐसे टाइप के प्लेटफॉर्म्स के साथ पार्टनर कर लिया था. Not that it yielded great results, but that's one example. फिर consideration का लीवर है कि once someone has dropped a lead on your platform, तब फिर आपको क्या क्या चीजों का ध्यान रखना है, राइट? एंड बाय द वे मतलब जैसे वन नीड्स टू बी वेरी केयरफुल कि ये इसके केआर क्या है, लाइक ब्रांड कैंपेन्स, whoever is driving, there needs to be something measurable, right? In our case it's organic traffic, कि अगर आपके ऑर्गेनिक ट्रैफिक बढ़ रहा है मतलब आप यहाँ पे बढ़ जाएंगे. ऑफ कोर्स देयर आर सेकेंडरी थर्ड टर्शियरी मेट्रिक्स आल्सो. फिर जैसे डिजिटल इवेंट्स का तो थोड़ा इजी टू है कि आपको कितने रजिस्ट्रेशन मिले. इन्फ्लुएंसर में इट्स लाइक कि आपकी रीच क्या थी, व्यूज क्या थे, फिर वेबसाइट ट्रैफिक कितनी ड्राइव की, फिर लीड्स कितनी हुई, वो सारी चीजें. नाउ यू डिफाइन दीज KPIs एंड देन असाइन वेरी क्लियर ओनर्स टू इट, तब जाके ये मूव होता है. वन पर्सन कैन नॉट डू एवरीथिंग, right? So for example, Scalar's team is about 100 people strong, and each of these levers is divided very clearly among different teams, right? So yeah, coming back to the funnel, ये consideration levers जो है, तो इसमें once the person has dropped a lead, how do they experience the product, right? Is it wow creating, not wow creating? What do you show them there? Then the mid funnel journey is creating the right segments of people, sharing content which is value adding, right? Then again, mid-funnel events are slightly different compared to top-of-funnel events. So doing a lot of that. ORM videos is something that I think super important in education. मतलब वो customer journey में वो search करते ही करते हैं review के लिए, like Scalar review, Scalar School of Tech review. So you need to create or put out videos which solve for this, right? Then there is your remarketing standards, social media pages. फिर आ जाते हैं purchase levers, where you need to have strong like sales teams, which are in a sense counseling teams in education. You need to ensure that they are not like predatory कि बस मतलब call पे call. The incentives need to be designed in a way that the experience, like in short, Baiju doesn't happen, right? So sales team बहुत ध्यान रखना पड़ता है. फिर bottom of funnel events is your one to many counseling sessions वगैरह वगैरह. Now all of this leads to customer coming on board. Then the product experience, I mean that while it lies outside of marketing, we really hope that it works. And फिर उससे क्या होता है कि the community build, right? And community build करते हो, and marketing plays a role in community building, by the way. So we do a bunch of hackathons, coding competitions वगैरह वगैरह within Scalar, meetups वगैरह. ये सारा कुछ marketing होता है, which is this community level. उससे क्या होता है कि people start referring. Okay, and you need to incentivize them in the right way, for the in a just kind of a way, right? Up Scalar, the way the reason it's doing well is uska CAC low hai, right? And today, right, 2023 August, CAC is the biggest thing that everyone in education is changing, lowering CAC, right? Focusing on bottom line, etc. तो वो तब होगा जब जैसे in our case 40% of our revenue comes through referrals. Typically industry standard is 15%. So that is one, because of a very strong product, NPS, high NPS, and also like strong referral and community programs. Right? So this is like a standard template. Again, जो आपका original question था कि फिर इससे you can pick up things that you want to do for certain segments and you don't want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really loved how you put it out there. And there is an analogy that I try to use with some of my clients who understand, is like is from Ramayana. Ki there are only those many weapons. We have gada, we have talwar, and we have bow and arrow, and we have to use it in the most optimal way. We can't invent a machine gun in that era. So you have to identify which one you have to go after. And therefore, what becomes a problem sometimes is they seem to be using a bow and arrow to someone who's standing right beside you, which is bottom of the funnel, and you have to do things which are, let's say, a talwar can do. So it is a very stupid analogy, but a lot of people get it. So I keep using it. So have you seen this merging of different parts of the funnel? And how has it impacted execution, or if you've had to take a step back in some cases, has there been some kind of experience in that way?
हाँ जी, तो मतलब ये बिल्कुल होता है, where let's say what the brand team does suddenly starts helping the mid funnel team, for example, right? In either ways, like अगर बढ़िया काम हुआ है तो अच्छे बॉम्ब लीड्स आ जाती है, अगर नहीं हुआ तो रैंडम जंक लीड्स आ जाती है. तो I guess here, like I was saying earlier, at least Scalar में ऐसा होता है कि there is a central dashboard which is your MIS, right? Tableau पे हो, Excel पे हो, कैसे भी हो, it is a source of truth that everyone agrees to. Okay, वहाँ पे black and white for the most part, right? 90% black and white में दिख जाता है कि भाई किसने क्या किया है ना? ऑर्गेनिक सर्च के क्या नंबर्स है, इसके क्या नंबर्स है, उसके क्या नंबर्स है, एंड देन फिर सबको मोटा मोटा पता होता है कि मैं क्या ड्राइव कर रहा हूँ, एंड मुझे क्या ट्वीक करना है, मेरे नंबर्स आगे पीछे करना. अब इसमें क्या होता है कि क्लैशेस होते हैं, देयर आर एट्रीब्यूशन प्रॉब्लम्स. पूरी मेरे को तो लगता है कि सब ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आधा जो लीडर का काम यही होता है कि एट्रीब्यूशन सॉल्व करो कि भाई मतलब तो वो सब होता है, बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू नीड टू इंसेंटिवाइज द टीम इन अ वे दैट द ऑर्ग विंस, राइट? इट्स अ ट्रिकी बैलेंस टू डू, बट वही जैसे लीडरशिप का काम ही मुझे लगता है कि यही है कि सबको सिंक में काम कराना अक्रॉस डिफरेंट सेगमेंट्स ऑफ दिस फनल.
Correct. Yeah. So which takes me to my next question, which is I don't know, tricky one concerning the industry itself, and you've experienced parts of it, wherein changing of business models impacting how you market. So let's say a B2B kind of a setup or a B2B2C kind of a setup versus a B2C, particularly B2C kind of a setup that Scalar is currently into. Do you see any change in how you strategically or tactically drive marketing in that way, or does it remain more or less the same with a few tweaks?
Right. I think मतलब स्ट्रक्चर तो सिमिलर ही रहेगा, बट ऑफ कोर्स द थॉट प्रोसेस एंड द जैसे आप ब्रांड मार्केटिंग में नहीं इन्वेस्ट करोगे ना B2B में, आप करोगे रिपोर्ट्स में इन्वेस्ट, आप करोगे सही तरीके के PR में इन्वेस्ट, राइट? सो दोज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स डेफिनेटली आर डिफरेंट. हाउएवर मेरा थोड़ा सा ना यहाँ पे एक स्ट्रॉन्ग व्यू है. आई नो यू वर्क अ लॉट विद B2B क्लाइंट्स, पर मुझे लगता है कि इंडिया में ना एजुकेशन में B2B करना ही नहीं. आई विल टेल यू व्हाई. ठीक है, अब जैसे बहुत लोग होते हैं वो ना ऐसे सोचते हैं कि यार मैं अभी कॉर्पोरेट में काम कर रहा हूँ, मुझे थोड़ा समझ में आ गया, अब ना मैं एक कंपनी चालू करना चाहता हूँ एजुकेशन की जो चीजें बदल देगा. मैं एक काम करता हूँ, मैं एक कॉलेज को अप्रोच करता हूँ, मैं उनको बोलता हूँ कि देखो मैं ना एक इंडस्ट्री प्रोफेशनल हूँ, मैं आपके यहाँ पे सब कुछ चेंज कर दूंगा, मतलब मैं आपके बच्चों को पूरा रेडी कर दूंगा. ठीक है, मैं बता रहा हूँ ये दिस इज सो कॉमन राइट नाउ. इससे क्या होता है कि लोग अपनी जॉब को क्विट कर देते हैं, फिर 4 महीने बाद उनको रियलाइज होता है अरे यार ये क्या, मतलब कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा. अब उसका रीजन मैं बताता हूँ. इंडिया में ना 80% जो कॉलेजेस हैं आर द अदर साइड ऑफ द B2B, राइट? लाइक मोस्ट व्हेन यू थिंक ऑफ B2B तो स्कूल्स कॉलेजेस होते हैं. स्कूल्स में फिर भी अच्छा है B2B. मैं कॉलेजेस की बात करूँ 80 to 90% कॉलेजेस आर ओन्ड बाय पॉलिटिशियंस. ठीक है, उनको घंटा फर्क पड़ता है, उनको कुछ मतलब कि क्या चल रहा है, क्या हो रहा है. उनको बस 2 चीज है, आप बता दो कि सर आप प्लेसमेंट के आउटकम ड्राइव कर दोगे, फिर दूसरा आप बता दो सर एडमिशन बढ़िया हो जाएगी. ठीक है, अगर आपके प्रोडक्ट्स इस जोन में है तो ठीक है आप कर सकते हो, बट अदरवाइज मतलब इट्स अ पेन, लाइक इट्स अ पेन टू यू नो. आप बिल दोगे, वो बिल को रैंडमली 70% कर देंगे, फिर रैंडमली मतलब आपको 6 महीने बाद पेमेंट देंगे. तो ये सब होता है. तो आई हाईली डिस्करेज पीपल नाउ कि आप कोई बिजनेस बनाना चाहते हो ना एजुकेशन में, तो आप B2B कॉलेज स्पेस में तो करना ही मत, राइट? एंड आई नो मेनी सीनियर पीपल, जैसे हरप्रीत ग्रोवर करके, यू वर्क विद एऑन, यू नो हिम एज वेल, राइट? He has a whole like LinkedIn post on this, and when I read it I was like अरे ये तो एकदम मतलब I can relate completely with this. So this is the post. This post is 9 years old, but it holds true till today. Right. So if anyone is,
I'll send him a screenshot.
yeah, man. This is so relevant. So anyone who's wanting to start an education, right? And everyone is wanting to start an education. By the way, do you know this? That the number of new startups, right? EdTech has the highest share.
Yes.
Right. So there I feel like B2C models are definitely harder to do. You need like VC funding, etc. But I feel long-term scalability, that's like an easier way to do it. Of course, having said that, there are B2B models which exist which are doing well as well. Yeah.
I agree with you on the fact that there is a lot to play with on the volume side, especially in India. So even if you reach whatever 1,000 number of students, it will keep you going that way. B2B is a little tricky that way, that you have to probably crack a deal every month to keep you on your feet.
Yes.
And
yes. अरे नहीं, simple fact है, India is not a free market in education. मतलब जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना हम लिबरलाइज हो गए, नहीं हुआ है एजुकेशन में.
yes.
आप जैसे मान लो कि जैसे अभी किसी को नया कॉलेज चालू है ना, एज अ ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस वो तो चालू हो जाना चाहिए 1 महीने में, बट वैसा नहीं होता. आपको 2-3 साल रुकना है, फिर कनेक्शंस लगाने हैं, lot of legal work to do. So I strongly feel कि it's not a free market. We are getting there.
Got it. ठीक है, which takes me to a very interesting part of it, because I've seen the change happen, especially in EdTech. And till about a year back, we were talking about pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, there has been a huge change in EdTech, and there has been inflow of a lot of VC money and customer money. But from what I've observed, there has also been a change in pre-opening of the world and post-opening of the world, and
Absolutely.
it is graph has gone the other way around. So, how has been your experience in these two phases, and how do you see this going forward?
मतलब ऐसा होता है ना कि वो मीम है ना, ये बदल गया वो बदल गया, व्हाट इज दैट मीम, जज्बात करते थे, वो हो गया इंडस्ट्री को कि सडनली मतलब एवरीवन इज फोकसिंग ऑन बॉटम लाइन. आपने अनअकैडमी के फाउंडर के पोस्ट देखे होंगे, ट्वीट्स देखे होंगे लिंक्डइन पे, सॉरी ट्विटर पे. वो मतलब आई थिंक व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इज इसेंशियली इज दैट बहुत ही ज्यादा अनसस्टेनेबल हाई कैक हो गया कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन. यही परफॉर्मेंस वगैरह टिपिकल चैनल्स यूज हो रहे थे, वहां पे कोई रिटर्न ऑन एड स्पेंड आ नहीं. फिर क्या हो रहा था, ये नेगेटिव पब्लिसिटी की वजह से टैलेंट निकल रहा था, राइट. लोग डर रहे कि टेक में क्यों आए यार, ले ऑफ्स हो रहे हैं वगैरह. एंड इन जनरल मतलब पेरेंट्स में भी ट्रस्ट इज हार्ड टू गेन, राइट. Here, I think Bloom Ventures has done a very good report in case someone wants to go deep into like what are the trends, what to expect, right? So, these VC do a good job in creating good thesis on like क्या होने वाला है, right? Only 30% will pay out, but it's a good read to see कि क्या सोच कैसे सोच रहे सब लोग, right? तो अभी क्या हो रहा है कि because of these 2-3 things that I spoke about, पूरा मतलब consolidation पे focus है. So you might have heard of all the acquisitions that Baiju has done, Unacademy has done, even Scalar has done a couple of this thing. तो बहुत सारा consolidation हो रहा है, बहुत सारा rationalization हो रहा है from a marketing point of view. तो उस वजह से क्या हो रहा है कि channels like performance, which are your, पता नहीं मतलब उसमें I'm also not very कि यार बस ठीक है डाल दो हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं, राइट. ट्रस्ट बेस्ड बिजनेस होता है एजुकेशन, तो वो थोड़ा सा डायल डाउन हो रहा है. रेफरल्स वगैरह पे फोकस हो रहा है, ऑर्गेनिक चीजों पे फोकस हो रहा है. वी आर गोइंग बैक टू बेसिक्स, राइट, इवन इन एजुकेशन. जिससे फिर आपके तो अभी जैसे many companies that I know of have revised their annual plans. Now they are saying कि नहीं हम number growth नहीं chase कर रहे, हम bottom line growth chase कर रहे. So essentially that is what is happening. Now what will happen I think after 2 years is that some sort of sanity will come in, and ये जो long term opportunity to chase है जो मैं बता रहा था पहले कि 180 billion is the Indian education market, that will start playing out, right. There are already players which are fundamentally strong. I think those guys will just become larger giants later. Yeah.
Correct. Got it. So I also have similar kind of opinion that when consolidation will happen, it will not happen with one player. It will happen with 3 or 4 players. But there might be space. There will be a lot of gap between say number 4 and number 5 or 6. But there will be coexistence of say number 6 to number 16, and everyone will be playing in that 10% or 20% of the market. The rest will be taken up by the bigger players. And with that, I want to diverge into more marketing terms, and then want to ask you, since you've been doing this for quite a bit of time, especially in education, what is it that you try and build within a marketing function first? So do you look at as a function wise build up, or do you look at as a task wise build up, or a goal based build up when you are hiring basically? So how is your point of view on that?
So is the question like how is the marketing team structured?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I think more or less the framework that I was talking about earlier, right? It is structured around that. So, for example, here at Scalar, there we have different pods. Okay, so there is a, for example, brand pod. अब हमने क्या किया, जो skills wise जो चीजें relevant है उस pod के लिए. Of course, there are brand marketeers there. There is influencer marketing. There is social media. There is, like I said earlier, we also have a production team. So वो सारा का सारा आपके brand pod में चला गया. Okay. We also have a growth pod, which is all your performance stuff goes there. Your SEO goes there. in some way your referrals etc also goes there. इन्फ्लुएंसर जो मतलब आप रेवेन्यू के लिए इन्फ्लुएंसर पार्टनरशिप्स करते हो वो सारी भी चीज़ें ग्रोथ में चली जाती है. देन वी हैव अ कम्युनिटी पॉट. कम्युनिटी में मतलब हमने एटलीस्ट ऐसे डिवाइड किया हुआ है एक्सटर्नल कम्युनिटी विच इज पीपल हु हैवंट जॉइंड द कोर्स सो फार. तो वो एक्सटर्नल कम्युनिटी का काम होता है जैसे कोडिंग कॉम्पिटिशंस करा लिया, हैकाथॉन्स करा लिए, वी डू अ लॉट ऑफ दैट. एंड देन इंटरनल कम्युनिटी ऑल्सो लाइक अगेन वी हैव 40,000 लर्नर्स इन स्केलर. सो हमने एक सिटी चैप्टर्स करके कॉन्सेप्ट चालू किया कि मुंबई में जैसे 1000 बच्चे स्केलर, how can we create a platform for these guys to regularly meet up, right? तो वो एक कम्युनिटी इंटरनल कम्युनिटी टीम करती है. इसी कम्युनिटी में रेफरल्स वगैरह का भी कुछ एस्पेक्ट आ जाता है, राइट? सो व्हाट हैव आई मिस्ड? आई थिंक हाँ, एनालिटिक्स इज अ बिग वन फॉर अस बिकॉज वही जो मैं कह रहा था कि एक सिंगल सोर्स ऑफ ट्रुथ जहाँ सब लोग एक्यूरेटली रिपोर्ट हो, एवरीवन अग्रीज टू इट. So analytics is one. So I guess it's जो मैं पहले बता रहा था कि funnel wise breakup है और फिर जहाँ मतलब हम लोग skills को ग्रुप करके एक पॉड बना दिया, वैसे वैसे पॉड्स बने हुए, right? So मोटा that's how we have structured.
Correct. So is this similar to like COEs that a lot of I won't say EdTech, but a lot of tech firms try and adopt, that this is events COE as an example, and this is a brand COE, and this is a performance COE. Is it similar, or
yes,
is it
you can say that
kind of different?
You can say that, but वो center of excellence जो in its traditional sense has a more research angle also to it maybe. तो यहाँ पे मतलब वो इट्स इम्प्लीमेंटेशन एंगल. बट यस यू आर राइट कि जैसे, और वो करना भी जरूरी है बिकॉज फिर वो टैलेंट जो आता है ना, दे लुक फॉरवर्ड टू बीइंग इन दैट टीम बिकॉज दे नो कि यार ग्रोथ में अगर काम करना है तो ये बंदे के साथ करना है, ये बेस्ट है इसमें, राइट? ब्रांड में करना है तो इसके साथ करना है और इन लोगों के आसपास करना है.
Correct.
So yeah,
got it. So moving from hires and to where it leads is a GTM motion, and it is a problem that aches every kind of tech organization, because where I see the falter happen is similar plans for a product-led versus a sales-led growth. So what has been your experience or your advice on that, on this aspect, whether it remains same, the GTM motion, if it is a product-led growth, or does it change when you are looking at a sales-led environment? What is your point of view on that?
So I think wherever one has the luxury of doing product-led growth, वो तो करना ही मतलब no brainer, right? अब जैसे मेरे पास दोनों एग्जाम्पल है बिकॉज लिटरली 2.5 साल में ये दोनों करने की अपॉर्चुनिटी. तो अब जैसे स्केलर जो है, we don't have the luxury of doing just product-led growth. Okay. The reason for that is कि कोई भी बंदा 3 लाख का ऐसी प्रोडक्ट तो लेगा नहीं, right? You need like good amount of counseling. You need multiple touches before someone says yes, I am committing to this 1 year long course. So there, because we don't have that luxury and we need to have high touch thing, we have a, I would say, semi-sales sales-led model. Why do I say
sales is what I call? Is it like that?
Sorry?
Consultative sales is what I hear
yes. बिल्कुल consultative sales is what you can call it. But again, हम जितना मतलब उसको कर सकते हैं productize in the sense that before it reaches the sales team, how do you educate the customer using mid funnel, using top of funnel events? जैसे मैं बता रहा था, हम लोग मास्टर क्लासेस बहुत सारे करते हैं तो वो कर लेते हैं हम. But still, like every eligible lead that is dropped is called, right? And you need to do that to choose out the maximum, lower your CAC, whatever, right? So there, I would say कि one should not try and be fancy कि नहीं यार मैं प्रोडक्ट ही करूँगा, नहीं मैं बिजनेस नीड है तो आपको करनी पड़ेगी, आपको टीम्स बिल्ड करनी पड़ेगी एंड आपको सही तरीके से इंसेंटिवाइज करना पड़ेगा, कल्चर सही बिल्ड करना पड़ेगा बिकॉज दैट्स अ मेजर चैलेंज इन एजुकेशन. फिर दूसरे साइड पे जहाँ पे आपको लग्जरी है, तो जैसे अभी ये स्केलर स्कूल ऑफ टेक है, यहाँ पे हमें इसको बहुत ही सिलेक्टिव बनाना, इस कॉलेज को, ये हम क्लियर थे। अब सिलेक्टिव बनाना है, इसका मतलब ये है कि यार आपको काउंसलर से बात करने के लिए ना हमने बैरियर्स डालने पड़ रहे हैं, बिकॉज ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि मतलब ऐसा नहीं फील आनी चाहिए पेरेंट को कि आपको कोई जबरदस्ती बेच, इट्स अ पुल बेस्ड अप्रोच, राइट? आई थिंक इन दो सिनेरियोज प्रोडक्ट लेड इज मोर डूएबल. So जैसे we have about 50,000 leads that have come in for this. We might have called maybe 4,000 leads of this 50,000. The rest we have tried to solve through product. कि ठीक है, आप ये वीडियो जाके देखिए, आप ये फ्री रिसोर्स देखो, या आपको मिड फनल से कम्युनिकेट कर लेंगे. The 4,000, 5,000 that I'm talking about that we have called are people who have actually come further down the funnel, have paid for a test, given a test, cleared a test. Those kind of people, right? So वही है कि I feel that had a company got an option of being product versus sales led, every company will say product led, but it should work, right? थोड़ा तो जहाँ वर्क करता है वो करना है.
Product led is the sexy term nowadays, no? But I keep telling a lot of enterprise selling clients कि नहीं होता है boss. That is how it is. You need good sales people. And marketing cannot solve these problems for you. It's not a e-commerce orange juice selling sale. So that has been my point of view on that.
I'm curious, is there any B2B company which is doing good product-led sales?
There aren't many. I try to call Canva as one because agencies use it. But it is now moving to a solopreneur kind of a thing. So it has essentially become B2C. But what it started out as was B2B. So that is one example that comes to mind.
No, that's a good one actually.
Yeah, in even Webflow or WordPress, these kind of examples are there. But eventually they will become B2C because now even a small D2C brand can make their website on their own. So while it is B2B, it essentially becomes B2C. So yeah, those kinds of examples which are there on the border are there.
Sure. Interesting.
Okay, so moving to the last leg of the podcast, couple of questions which I try to bounce off your thoughts on. Number one is you've just joined Scalar or Clarity. You can take whatever example, and who should be your first marketing hire? What are you looking for? Which function? Which role? Which talent?
No, I would tell someone, hey man, are you ready to go through shit? And second, are you? I would actually look for a generalist, smart generalist, because वही होता है कि you don't know what will work in a 0 to 1 project. तो अभी जैसे स्केलर स्कूल ऑफ टेक में भी हमने 10 चीजें प्लान की थी, 1 या 2 वर्क किए, and then we double down on it. So वो उसमें भी होता है हर 0 to 1 project. So smart generalists, your McKinsey mindset people will come look at like things as problem statements and go deep. So that's my first step for sure.
Perfect. That's really smart answer, I would say. And moving to the last one on the show is one controversial opinion on education or EdTech marketing. You can choose whichever one you want to go after.
Okay, let me think of something that doesn't get me into trouble.
I actually got one answer during the recording, which was that you should not do B2B in education. So that is one answer.
Honestly, man, like I think, and that's not my opinion actually, we should give Harpreet credit for it. बिल्कुल नहीं है. So yeah, maybe that's a good one.
Okay, I gave you a way out of this, but perfect. I think that answer is good enough to stay. It is a controversial opinion. It might help someone who's listening to this. But thank you again, Manmeet. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming over. I know it takes a little bit of scheduling to come over, but it's been a pleasure. And
thanks, man. I think this was
let's meet up often, and the next time we speak should not be 8 years down the line.
Absolutely. No, I think this was a fun conversation. Thank you for the curiosity of digging and getting these answers out. My pleasure being here. Yeah, let's catch up in Delhi soon.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode on Ads and Tales. For more B2B marketing stories, insights, strategies, tactics, and views, keep listening to Ads and Tales. You can also check out the Ads and Tales newsletter to help you crack the code for B2B marketing. And if you need any help in solving any of your B2B marketing problems, check out admomenta.com. This is your host Sid signing off. This is Ads and Tales.